The one play that DJ tipped in the, I think it was the second quarter, Carp was actually right there to pick it off. So he had a really good game, tackled well, played probably the best game of his career. Our offensive big playmaker was Trevor Simeon. Trevor was 6 or 7 throwing the ball, was really efficient. And Damian Proby, again, very active. Our 3 practice players, Sir Land, Dwight White, and Malin Jones. Those 3 guys did a terrific job. Fired up to see that Vendrick Mark last week was named to the Doak Walker Award list semifinalist. I think he's now 3rd in the Big Ten and 14th nationally with 117 yards per game. He's had over 100 yards 6 times this year, and 260 yards of all-purpose against Michigan. And I think he's 6th in the country with 191 yards, having a really solid year. And then Kane and Trevor really played at a high level on Saturday. The same thing with our offensive line. We had 4 out of our 5 guys nominated for Player of the Game. Brandon Matable played his best game. He had 22 total finishes. Was really active, and I thought that group as a whole played really well. Looking forward to this week, and obviously looking at an outstanding opponent. Like always in this league, the hits just keep on coming. Coach D'Antoni and his staff do a great job offensively. Obviously a new face at quarterback in Andrew Maxwell. He spread the ball out a lot. Humphrey has got 34 receptions. Sims has got 27 receptions. Fowler's got 31 receptions. Livett's got 30 receptions. Burbridge has got 22, so they spread the ball out to a lot of different guys on the perimeter when they throw it. But obviously their bread and butter is, the feature back in Le'Veon Bell. He's a terrific football player. He's physical. He's very patient. That's what jumps out to me. They run the lead, they run the power, the inside-outside zone. He does a great job of staying square, playing behind his pads, and not trying to just dive in there. He does a great job, in our opinion. It's behind, an offensive line. McDonald's their senior up there. They've had some injuries, but he's played a lot of ball. 35 starts in his career. Francis started 20 games. Treadwell started against us, I believe, a year ago. A group that's, very physical, and they do a terrific job on defense. Pat Narduzzi's got him playing great again. It starts up front. Golston is as disruptive of defensive linemen as there is in this league. Rush on the other side, giving 2 great bookends. Rashad White's a big man. You pop on that tape and bam, there's 98. You can't miss him. And he takes up a lot of space. I believe we played Kittredge when he was at Vanderbilt. And transfer there, now inside, they roll guys in. Max Bull is a fantastic football player. Tackle to tackle, awesome. Sideline to sideline, an impressive athlete. They use Allen in a lot of great ways. They bring him off the edge. He's a disruptive pass rusher. He's great in the box. And then they've played both guys, Norman and Jones, out at Sam. Both guys are physical, can do a lot of things. In the back half, very dynamic group. Play their quarters coverage with Adams and Denard at the corner, and Lewis and Drummond, and then they're also getting Williamson in at safety, and then you'll see Hicks in nickel situations. They do a great job. They just do a terrific job. It's going to be a great challenge. They're fast and physical in the kicking game. And, the guys did a good job coming back. We took a look at the tape, the areas that we need to improve, the areas we've got to coach our guys better at, and thought we had a really good start to the week here this morning. So with that, how about some questions?
You guys have bounced back from tough losses before this year. How do you do it, and what makes you think you'll be able to again Saturday?
Yeah, well, first of all, we got a 24-hour rule, so we've stuck to that, win or lose. But it's kind of really not 24 hours today, though, because we do it this morning. So I don't know how many hours that is, 48, but whatever. I thought the guys came in and understood what happened. We were in a dogfight. We scored early, we were down, got back, we were down, and we just got to find a way to make that one more play. And we've done it a bunch this year. I think 5 of our games have been close, and we've done it. We've just been unfortunate in a couple games against some pretty darn good teams. I think that shows you how close we are, but we got to get over that hump. That's what we got to do better as coaches, help the guys get over the hump, coach them better. And it starts and ends with me. But morale's high, attitude's great. Right now we got 7 in the bank, and huge challenge this weekend, but also a huge opportunity for us. We've responded like you said in the past, and we're going to need our best response of the year this Saturday.
Can you talk about the leadership on this team, some of the guys specifically, on how important that is to bounce back from that loss?
Well, I mean, I think that defines your character and how you respond, and not only to tough times, but also to success. You know, in a kind of weird sort of way, I think it's a little bit easier to respond when you get knocked down than it is when you have success in a crazy sort of way. But we've won a lot of close games around here, and unfortunately we let one get away on Saturday, which is disappointing. But got to credit our opponent too. But the guys have bounced back.
Coach, with all 3 losses this year, you've had a lead at some point in the fourth quarter. Is there any sort of commonality to what prevented from hanging on to the lead, or is it different each time?
Well, I think when you look back at the Penn State game to start, we were on the field too long as a defense. I think I talked about that after the game. And we just didn't do a good enough job on third down, and then offensively we couldn't sustain a couple drives in the fourth quarter. Against Nebraska, I think it's pretty safe to say that Taylor Martinez is having a pretty special year. He was on fire in the fourth quarter. I mean, again, same thing. I mean, obviously, we had our chance. We needed to get a few more yards offensively. We didn't there at the end, but we got the fourth down pickup that we needed. So I mean, we just play away, just keep battling. And I don't think there's a commonality. I think more so we just got to stay the course and stick to where our plan is. It's been pretty darn good. So just stay the course.
Talk about your defense on the Roundtree play after looking at it on film. What personnel did you have, and what different choices do you have there in terms of coverage?
Yeah, we were in our third down coverage package from a standpoint of meaning our nickel package, I should say. And we're in our base coverage when we run in that situation when the team's got a play that they thought they were going to run, so they ran double post wheel route, which they had run every 2-minute situation. So we got a guy in the flat to accept the wheel and 2 guys deep to take both posts. So that's what we had there. And it's, I think, the right call for the play that we expected to see, and we saw it. And would I like to have gotten better reroutes and knocked all 3 receivers on the ground? Yeah, but we didn't do that. But I thought Danny went up to go make a great play, and unfortunately he just missed a little bit. But we got out of our lanes and pass rush allowed him to step up, and I think Hank did the math. I think there were 180 plays in the game, times 22 players. I think it was like 3,600 and something plays. So we win as a team, and unfortunately we come up short as a team. And there were a lot of plays prior to that we should have made. We could have made, and we could have coached our guys better on it. We didn't. But I mean, I understand why we talk about that. I mean, I get it. But I think Danny went up to go make a play. Could we run different coverages? I mean, yeah. I mean, we could do a lot of different things. We could have blitzed. I mean, we could have done a lot of things. But I'm not that kind of guy. I mean, we had a plan. We had a plan that we put together during the week. That was the plan. We expected to see that route. That was a planned coverage that we wanted to have in for it. I would have been really disappointed if I saw a guy open. You know what I mean? Right. That I didn't see that. I just saw a young man make a great play, and you got to tip your hat. Roundtree senior. He killed us 2 years in a row. I'm really glad.
I know Bruce thought they had him a while back when they were recruiting him.
That would have been cool if he went there. He's a great player.
Let's follow up quickly. And that's, how many DBs do you have on the field as opposed to linebackers? And were you also wary of allowing like a 30-yard completion that would have set up a field goal?
Yeah. I mean, that's why you don't go put 7 guys back along the goal line because they needed a field goal to tie the game. So we were in our 3 down, which puts 3 backers in, and 6 DBs or 5 DBs, excuse me. And that's our base, the way we play it there, especially with where our depth is right now in the secondary. We have some different avenues when we have different personnel available. We don't have everything right now.
Coach, speaking of distribution, you had 7 people with receptions in this game, but you had a 3 underclassmen with the bulk of the receptions. Christian Jones with 5, Dickerson with 2, and your true freshman Vitalia 2. That's going to be promising.
It is. We'll start in reverse today. I mean, Danny Vitale's playing not like a freshman right now. I mean, he's playing great football. He blocked really well. I think he could have had one other catch, but there was a little bit of disruption on that play, I guess I'd say. But he's playing well. Really happy to see Cam kind of been more of a role guy as far as in the kicking game. But to see him get a great throw by Trev and a back shoulder play, and then the one screen play that he was able to get a few yards on was great. And then Christian's just been playing better and better and better, and he had just a terrific game on Saturday. I mean, I think Jake Ryan's a really good football player. You know, I think he's a really good football player. And to see the way that Christian blocked him, see the way that he was able to get out and catch the ball. He's going to have the same challenges this week against a great linebacking core and a great group of safeties and corners. But he's playing very well right now.
A follow-up, Coach, also, Tim Wiley had a catch, and was that a new wrinkle that you added with him in the backfield? You kind of had a two-set backfield out of the gun?
Shades of Oswego High School, right? Yeah, no, it was just some things we're trying to take advantage of who we are and what we do, and players, formations, plays. You know, it's some different things we want to try to do to have some success running the ball and give defenses multiple looks. Continue to try to add things as we go along each week, but again, playing the guys' strengths.
Fitz, now that it's kind of that time of year, I mean, do you pay attention at all to bowl, the lineup and speculation, all that?
You know, Chris, our focus always, as we talked about earlier in the year, is on us. You know, I've got to get our guys to play 60 full minutes. You know, we've done that 7 times, and it's 3 we haven't. So that's not consistent enough for what our expectations are around here. So, I mean, that's our focus right now. You know, it's just to play 60 minutes of football. And, you know, you guys, I think, asked me to buy, you know, what do I know about our team? It was solidified again on Saturday. I mean, our guys will fight their tails off. I mean, you know, Brady and I were talking after the game. That was a slugfest. You know, 2 teams going at each other, and it was. If I'm not a coach at Northwestern or I'm not a coach at Michigan, I'm just a fan watching a football game. That was a heck of a football game to watch. And you know, I mean, I know the national people will say that our league isn't great, but I think our league is getting better, and I thought we would as the season went along. I really did. We're getting better. I mean, I know it didn't show up in the win, but we're improving as a team. You know, we're starting to grow up in some areas. We just got to finish games and finish them more consistently. So we just got to keep grinding, keep working to improve. And we're on a journey here. We just got to keep improving along the way.
Coach, what can you say about your run game now that you were able to take the 7th best defense and put almost 250 yards on them? And talking specifically about Kane and Varick and how well they've been doing the past couple of weeks.
Well, they've both been playing very hard, you know. I mean, they've been playing physical and they've been playing hard. I mean, you don't have to play perfect if you play with maximum effort, you know. And Walk always said, football's not a game of perfect, you know, and that always resonates with me. You know, I appreciate your guys' questions, but I don't know how to coach a guy to be perfect, you know. Just coach him to try to be the best he possibly can be, and I think our guys are fighting their tails off to do that. We got to coach them better. We got to give them more tools, but I don't fault our guys' effort in any way, shape, or form. I think they're giving everything they've got, and they just got to keep grinding. I mean, that's where you're at right now, week 12 of the season. You know, I know it's only game 11, but it's week 12 of the season, and you know, we'll tweak some things as we move into practice. You know, just because of where we're at. We don't need to be out as long. I don't need to have them beating each other up. This is going to be a physical game on Saturday. Mark does a great job. I mean, there's a physical football team, so we're going to need to be smart this week.
You said that Nick Van Hoos was close to playing on Saturday. Is it safe to say that improvement or the you know, continued health is moving into this week? And then you also do have an update on Benner and Mark?
Yeah, I expect Benner to play. And then, you know, again, I think Nick, like I said after the game, he was close last week, but, you know, we made the decision that's right for him. So we'll see how it progresses this week. You know, I got to see some things in practice. I mean, he'll be active in practice like he was last week, but I got to see some things in practice. But more importantly, he needs to see some things in practice, if that makes sense. So he's grinding at it. The hardest thing about injuries is patience. You know, and it'll be great once we get him back. So just got to keep working on it.
Vince, I noticed Simeon took that hit out of bounds, and you were celebrating. Was that just because of the call, or was it because maybe there had been some other calls that hadn't come?
Yeah, I mean, let me be real clear on that. I mean, our tone and our attitude on the boundary wasn't very good. It got pretty negative. We had some stuff go against us. So as a motivator, you got a couple options in some areas. Number one, sometimes you got to be a disciplinarian, right? Sometimes you got to be a guy who's going to give somebody a hug and be there and give them an ear. And sometimes you got to be a clown and a knucklehead. I'm a really good knucklehead, you know. I pride myself in that. So at that point, and you guys have seen me do it sometimes for our guys, I needed to get a response out of our guys. And so that was directed to our guys, and it worked. And I know it doesn't always work, but it worked. And, you know, I'm listening on the headphones how Trevor's doing because the guys are talking to me. So that's my number one concern is the health, safety, and well-being of our guys. But at the same time, sometimes I got to do some things. So that's my job. And the guys responded, you know, they responded. So I prefer not to do that.
So I think
I just prefer not to have our attitude go a little sour, you know, but that happens sometimes.
and by that you mean like some guys sometimes are thinking like, oh, we're getting the officials.
Yeah, I mean, I just think a lot of things, you know, I think just the way the flow of the game was going, and, I mean, 17 to 22-year-old guys in a hostile environment with some tough stuff going on. I mean, it's, they want to win in the worst way, you know, and are fighting and scratching and battling, and, you know, that's my job. And I'm not, you guys come to practice every day. I'm not a sit there, sing Kumbaya, and let the things unfold. That's not my DNA. And I got a serious passion problem, and sometimes I turn into a knucklehead, and you know what? At least I know who I am, and I'm cool with it. You know, I'm all right with it, because that's the way I'm going to coach our guys. That's what they expect from me. You know, that's the number one thing. I think they'd be ticked off at me if I didn't coach them that way. So, I mean, I got to keep my composure, and I got to keep my poise. I understand all that. And it's 2 years in a row now. I guess I've lost it in the game against Michigan, but like I tell Stacy all the time, you have to excuse my passion. Get over it.
And if there's ever a situation like that again, with so little time left, and you know the opposing team throwing one long down like that, do you tell your guys, don't be afraid to interfere, don't be afraid to tackle a receiver?
Yeah, I mean, as I look back and I judge Daniel's decision, he went up to make a play. I can't fault a guy for going to make a play. And, you know, we won a lot of games the other way. And I know what it felt like to be in Michigan's locker room. It's a pretty darn good feeling. And I've also, unfortunately, had the feeling that we had on Saturday in the locker room before. And, you know, you learn a lot about who you are when you go through those experiences, both on the plus side and on the tough side. And I think it just adds to your character, number one, both ways. And number two, I think you find out really who you are. And you really find out who believes and who trusts. And our focus is inside our program. And, you know, that's what I got to teach our guys about. There's always noise. When you win, there's noise, and you got to shut that out. When you have tough things happen to you, there's noise, and you got to shut those things out. And, you know, it was really cool. We got a lot of awesome emails from some great fans of ours. I didn't share with the team. I shared a couple with our coaches. You know, we're close. This young team's growing up, and, you know, there's no moral victories in our ball club. I mean, there's a lot of frustration in the way that we haven't been able to finish. But what's done is done, and you focus on now going back to the process of getting prepared and doing it consistently, and hopefully playing our best game of the year this Saturday. I mean, we got a lot to play for. Not a lot of guys that worn a purple and white won 8 football games. And to get to the next level, you got to get to 8 first. So, you know, this is a special opportunity for us. We understand that we've given up the opportunity to be in the championship game, but, you know, the senior class has done a lot. And, you know, hopefully we can send them out with a big old exclamation point because they're playing pretty hard right now.
You talked about this being a young team, and you talked about maybe the fact that the attitude and the silent got a little bit sour. What can you do to kind of make sure that, you know, outside of, as you said, being a knucklehead,
Right.
to make sure that this young team can keep bouncing back from such difficult losses and really keeping their attitude and morale high?
Well, you know, it's not easy. You know, it's like I told the coaches yesterday when we got together, I just said, you know, at the core of who you are is your character. And that's the process and what we go about when we're recruiting. And so I've got full trust and belief in that. But at the same time, our young men deserve our best effort to give them everything we can to help them be successful. They do the right things off the field. They do the right things in the classroom, and they're playing their hearts out for each other and for our program and for our university, for our fans. So I can't ask a whole lot more besides just coach them better. I mean, that's all we can do. And then when you face that, you know, the highs are the highs and the lows are the lows, as you're growing, as you're maturing as a team, as an individual player, you got to stay consistent. And that's a challenge, man. I mean, that's hard. I mean, that's real hard. You know, you look at every sport, though, it's the same way. You know, it's the same way. You look at I don't care. I look at the Yankees and the way they played, and you look at, you know, it's a challenge, but you just got to keep grinding on it with guys. And if this morning was any indication, I think our guys will be excited to play and excited to get to work tomorrow. I have full confidence in that. They'll respond boldly, but it's going to be a huge challenge. Playing a very, very good football team that, in my opinion, after watching them on tape, very easily could be undefeated.
Pat, sorry if I've been asked already, but just looking at Michigan State, do you see similarities there between them and you guys, how close they've been and how close you guys have been? I think all 5 of their losses have been by single digits.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just shows you just how close both programs are. I think to being where, I know from our standpoint, and I can't talk for Mark and his program, but from our standpoint of being where we want to be, and that's competing for a championship, you know, and that's the goal. And we've unfortunately not been able to finish a couple of games, but we're going to get that done. I've got full confidence and full belief in that, and I know our guys do. And I know the only solution to it is to work. You got to work at it. You got to grind it out, and you got to couple it and glue it together with an attitude. And you know, but they're playing really good football. I mean, I've had some things not go their way. I mean, as I've watched, I haven't got through every game, but I'm pretty darn close on both sides. Got through all the kicking game. I mean, it's a very, very talented football team, a very well-coached football team. And you know, with the ball being out long, it sometimes bounces weird. They've just had some tough bounces, and at the end of the day, so have we. But you know, it's not a pity party. It's football. You know, we're celebrating our veterans and those that defend our country, and kind of puts things in a little bit of perspective. You know, when you think about it that way.
Anything else? All right, thanks, Coach.
Great, thanks, Ray.